John McCrae was born in 1872. He was educated at University of Toronto and then appointed fellow in pathology at McGill. He served as a pathologist at Montreal General Hospital. In 1914, he enlisted as a medical officer in the 1st Canadian Contingent with the rank of major. He was promoted lieutenant colonel in 1915 and transferred to number 3 General Hospital in Boulogne, where he died. Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place. And in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived. Till dawn. Saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved. Now we lie, Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from failing hands, we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields. Amen.
Good morning. Each year at this time, we look more closely at one of the fragments of glass from our unique memorial window. Many of these bear witness to events and sacrifice which we wish to remember and honor. Perhaps some of you have read the book A Bridge Too Far, the account of the daring British airborne raid to capture the Arnhem Bridge in the Netherlands in the fall of 1944. It was hoped that this action would have helped bring World War II to a quick end. Unfortunately, the raid ultimately failed at a cost of many, many soldiers' lives. After the battle for Arnhem ended on September the 25th, 1944, the Germans forced the local population to leave the town. Nobody was allowed back in for the duration of the war. The Germans started systematically to loot the city, blow up buildings, and destroy property at random. When the Allies launched their final attack on Arnhem on April the 13th and 14th, 1945, it was a ghost town. The German soldiers put up a terrific fight, causing even more damage to the city. In fact, the Canadian 5th Division finally took the city of Arnhem only about 3 weeks before the end of the war in April 1945. Here is a fragment of glass from our memorial window. My father found it among the ruins of a church in that city. Perhaps it can remind us of all those who fell in battle near that famous bridge. I quote from his war diary. April the 11th, 1945, arrived at Rear 5th Canadian Armored Division to take over duties as senior chaplain. Had a long conference with Major Pryor to get a picture of the conditions and info re personnel. April the 15th, Must have been a Sunday. All services canceled because of move. Crossed over the Rhine into Arnhem with Rear Division headquarters. Spent some time at 7th Light Field Ambulance. Set up cemetery number 13 at map reference 749788. Private Norman Anderson grew up in Windsor. He enlisted when he was 19 and went overseas with the 5th Division in December of 1944. 4 months later, on April the 11th, he died in the battle to liberate Arnhem. Was he buried in cemetery number 13? Perhaps. But now he lies in the Canadian War Cemetery near the village of Holten in the Netherlands, beside 1,323 of his fellow Canadians who fell during the final weeks of the war. This picture was taken on December the 24th. How do we know? Because every year since 1945, on Christmas Eve, the Dutch children from the town of Holten come to the cemetery and place a candle beside every grave. But why do I choose to mention Private Norman Anderson? I'll explain. There is a virtual book of remembrance online with a page for each known soldier buried in a Canadian military cemetery. Those pages remain active today. On his page, I found these words, which I felt were appropriate to pass on to you today. And I quote, "Not for fame or reward, not for place or for rank, not lured by ambition or goaded by necessity, but in simple obedience to a duty as they understood it. They suffered all, sacrificed all, dared all, and died. May you rest in eternal peace. Left by Jill, February 2007.
Thank you, Michael and Fred, for leading us in those parts. I would like to ask you now, whether you are at home or whether you are here in the sanctuary, to stand as Gord Moore plays the last post. This will be followed by 1 full minute of silence as we each spend time with our own thoughts and prayers, and then Gord will play Reveille. After Reveille, I would ask you to please remain standing as the virtual choir sings our national anthem, O Canada. Gord.